So the next activity that we're going to do uses the whiteboard. Whiteboard is a Zoom feature that I personally feel is heavily underutilized. Many people seem to think it's only good for math or similar lessons that you would have to ideally be in an in-person classroom. But realistically, psychologically, it actually evokes a feeling of nostalgia. So if you're not an in-person teacher or an in-person facilitator, when was the last time you physically wrote on a whiteboard? It's so much fun to incorporate this into your different things. Many facilitators do not know that you can easily turn on and off the whiteboard feature that makes the attendees' cursors and pictures and words anonymous. Very easy to turn on and off. When the facilitator uses this feature to make attendees anonymous, it's actually the only true time that attendees can provide you real-time unbiased feedback. Even if pre-surveys are anonymous, attendees might not feel like they are. In the meeting, if people were to speak or to write in chat, their names are attached to that. However, the anonymous whiteboard evokes that feeling of freedom and anonymity. You know what I mean. With this, you can get in trouble if you do not use it properly. But if you turn the name feature on, it can also be useful for other activities, such as taking votes. You can do tallies on the whiteboard. You can make sure that each person is only voting once by turning on their names. You can do tic-tac-toe, like someone in the chat just said. So I'm going to turn on the whiteboard now. If you know how to use it already, have fun, draw away. And if you haven't used it, then I will give you instructions on it. All right, if you have a PC, in order for you to write on the whiteboard, at the top of the screen where it says you are seeing Kristen Malick's screen, you'll want to click Options, and then you'll click Annotate. It will pop up with a toolbar where you can write, text, use stampers, and more. If you're on your phone or mobile device, you should have a pencil in the bottom left, an edit pencil. And this will give you the drawing tools. However, if you're on a Chromebook, you actually have to download a completely different app called Zoom Rooms. Zoom Rooms allows you to annotate on the whiteboard. It has a little bit of a different variety of tools, which includes 5 colors, a screen markup, eraser, and undo. It's very specific to Chromebooks. So if you're in a primary school or a K-12 school where everyone's handed Chromebooks, I'd suggest avoiding the whitebook activities unless you're taking it over the whole semester, because it can take extra steps and it's a barrier to use. Okay. You can see right now that you have all of your names attached to it. So if you want to turn this on and off, if you are host, then you would click on More, which is next to, share, whiteboard, remote control. You click More, and then there's an option that just says hide names of annotators. And so I clicked it. And now, unless you're specifically on the arrow, which the arrow always has your name, then if you're doing stamps or if you're writing, it no longer has your name affiliated with it. So it looks like a lot of people are on here. We figured it out. Beautiful. We got some tic-tac-toe going on. Okay, so we've been having fun. So now I'm going to clear the screen and you are all anonymous. So what I want you to do is I want you to either use the text or the drawing tool and write out the one thing you are most worried about when it comes to planning and producing events in this time of COVID. So the cool thing with your whiteboard right now is that there's actually an automatic feature in Zoom that can save that whiteboard, or you can use other programs such as I love the snipping tool on my PC, so that way I can record exactly what I want and not have to find it later. And then you can save it and record it, which is nice. There's some facilitator notes. As you can see, even though you have the ability to interact with each other, this is mainly a facilitator and attendee interaction. I'm asking you to give me information, you're giving me information, and I'm summarizing it back to you. I like to use this at the beginning of my session to gather information, or at the end for real-time feedback about the session. Not everybody feels comfortable with that if they don't think it's a very good session. You can save this screen through Zoom or take a screenshot through other programs. If you want to know how I will be using this information, I will probably use these topics for future Friday PD Power Hour meetings to help provide real training for our community that's actually wanted and needed, and not just topics I want to push out into the universe. So in the future, maybe I will have an increasing attendance at your meeting or a marketing at your meeting type of activity. Okay, so now that we're all back, let's rate it. With your hands in front of you, I want you to rate for me how much you liked that activity. So from a scale of 1 being I absolutely did not like that activity and would never use it, up to a rating of 5 fingers being I would definitely use that activity in my event. Let's hold them up. Awesome. Pretty much all 5s. That's incredible.